This is the follow-up to my customer Heath's 2020 Silverado rear OE aluminum shaft dilemma with the tight U-joint down there at the axle end, and he brought it to me after he found out how difficult it was to get the U-joints out, and that was a good move on Heath's part. Could possibly, quite likely, been headed for worse trouble. So I've got it straightened out now. That's about 2,900 RPM. Yeah, it's very close to 3,000 RPM right there. Zero at the transfer case. Nobody home. Same thing at the rear axle. This is the busy end. Both ends needed correction, weight correction. But the rear axle end was the busiest end. It had a little bit of rough handling. I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm just saying that's the nature of the beast. If you live in other parts of the country and you'll watch these videos, and like in the south or west or whatever, you probably don't have any idea what I'm even talking about. But here in the Rust Belt, U-joint caps rusted in by the brine that they put on the road for the winter road treatments is hideous. I mean, it's engineered to dissolve vehicles, basically. And that's what attacks between the aluminum and the steel, the aluminum drive shaft and the steel cap, the electrolysis is hideous. And these things are really easy to damage. And this end here had a fair amount of yoke compression. I'd say like 6-7 thousandths yoke compression. I've got a spreader tool that I have that I made to put in there, and you just cheat them back out again. And you gotta get them right. And it takes a little while to do that. But the alternative is way worse. You put another U-joint in there, it's tight, the same thing's just going to happen. So, zero at the rear axle, nobody home. I'm going to slow this down, get a few things to show here. A little bit of show and tell. This is a production drive shaft, and you never know what you're going to see, but these are the OE weights, and they're like 16 inches in from each end. Normally I'd take the weights off, but with that plug weld there, just worried about having an aluminum stalactite, and they cook them things on there with major voltage. And there's chances are, I bet you money, that there's aluminum stalactite pierced through here. You could very easily end up with a hole. Or if you grind on it and grind this all off, you create a hot spot. It could put a hook in the tubing. So it's a no-win situation. It's like you don't need to poke that hornet nest. The goal here is to get him so he can drive his truck to work tomorrow. So that's what I did. It needed more weight correction down here. That's aluminum weight, but remembering that that's a OE weight that I peeled off of something else. That's aluminum. It doesn't weigh that much. It's really not all that much weight. It's just a big physical thing because aluminum is very light. Yeah, that about wraps it up. He's got 1350 series weld jokes that he brought Spicer snap tights, the really good ones like I use. So that's all good. So we're going to wrap this up, and we'll get this back to Heath as soon as we can.